Hello, everyone. Welcome to Angelic Spring Tarot. This is the Tarot After Dark series. If you are a returning subscriber, guys, you're welcome back to the channel. And if you are a visitor here, you're welcome as well. So this is the Tarot After Dark series, and you already know that this is not a tarot reading. These are spiritual lectures, okay? So this is the series where I talk about spiritual things and spiritual wisdom. And if that's what you're interested in, please sit down and relax, and maybe you may get a thing or two or a knowledge or two from this lecture. Okay. For those people who are interested in tarot readings, the live stream is going to come up after this lecture. Okay. All right. So today I'm going to be talking about how foundation can become a cause of problems. So when someone falls into problems, especially when they are spiritual, it's not always excess. It's not always as a result of excess. Okay. Um, Sometimes it can be a foundational problem. Now, what is a foundation? So a foundation is the spiritual, ancestral, and bloodline roots you were actually born into. Okay. A foundation is the spiritual, ancestral, and bloodline roots you were born into, and it includes family history, okay, blessing, which could be family blessings and family curses. You have ancestral covenants and oaths. You have the land and blood where you came from, where you came through, and then the first spiritual agreement made before your birth. Okay, so these are types of spiritual foundation. It's like the soil of a tree. Even if the branches look healthy, okay, um if that soil is poisoned, the tree will struggle. So even if the tree is looking okay, but the soil is poisoned, that tree will not be okay in the real sense. Okay. So how can foundation become the source of a problem? So let me take the first type. Okay. So when it comes to the foundation that has to do with ancestral oaths and covenants. So now the foundation of a person can become a problem when there are unfulfilled ancestral oaths and covenants. Okay, so sometimes ancestors swore oaths even long before a lot of us were born. They joined, some ancestors joined secret societies or made sacrifices to deities for survival. Some of them had deal with several spirit guides or, you know, deities. Okay, so when these ancestors made this old whatever contract they made, their children, when they have children, their children inherit both the blessings of this covenant and also the bondage of this covenant. Okay, for example, if an ancestor vowed that his children will serve certain shrine, okay, those children may feel blockages if they deviate from that path. Okay, so even if no one asked them, they will feel blocked because that path is active and they are not fulfilling that part. Now, that is an ancestral oaths in covenant. So let's talk about bloodline patterns. Sometimes you may have some kind of bloodline, pattern in a family. For example, a particular family may have this repeated pattern of maybe poverty, barrenness, early death, broken marriages, and you see this repeating from generation after generation. Sometimes some of the some of the families, the women will have several kids with several men from one generation to the next. You will just notice that this has been happening over and over. Okay? And this could be as a result of unresolved spiritual debts. Okay? So these patterns are not always attack. Most times they are echoes of foundation. It's a foundational thing, is something that is deep inside their ancestry. Okay. Then you have parental wounds. Okay. So sometimes the way the parents live may affect the children or may affect the later generations. Okay. So if the parents were abusive, you know, they are addicted to something, maybe drugs, alcohol, if the parents were betrayers, deception, that creates like a spiritual crack. Okay. So when kids are given birth to in this family, or children are born to this family, okay, through those cracks, they may carry those burdens. Sometimes the children may even start acting the way their parents are acting. That is a form of foundational problems. Okay. Now you have land and lineage. So the land your family came from also matters. So some lands may carry bloodshed, wars, or covenant altars. Okay. When a child is born from that land that carry all those things, okay, that child may carry its shadows until either they purify themselves or they reconnect with, if it's a bloodline shrine or a covenant shrine in that land, they may have to reconnect with that for that burden to be removed. Okay. So having a spiritual problem is not always as a result of excess. So let's talk about the difference between foundational problems and excess. Now, excess are external attacks that may or may not have anything to do with your family, maybe coming out from an outside source, mostly from outside, somebody that is not your family member, maybe a friend, a neighbor, what have you, a client, what have you. So an ex is like an external attack. Okay, somebody from outside intentionally projecting envy, curses, or ritual against you. Okay, so it can come from someone outside, it can come from someone in your family. All right, so it is not deeply rooted, it is something in the surface or on the surface. Okay, a foundational issue is internal, is deeply rooted. Okay, so it's like something that pass on from generation to generation, and that is why if you want to get married to somebody, it is very crucial for you to actually go and check the person's foundation to see what is the pattern that has been going on in their family. If it's a pattern that you can cope with, okay, A lot of us just neglect this part, but it's actually very, very important. Knowing the foundational pattern of a family or of someone before you get married to them is very, very crucial because you really do not know what has been going on for centuries. Okay, so the foundation issue is internal roots. Okay, it's problem that flows from bloodline. Okay, even without external enemies. Okay, so what are the signs that someone has a foundational problems? If someone has a foundational problem, you will see that the whole family or the siblings of that person will suffer the same cycle of poverty, late marriage, sickness, and what have you. All right. It could be also be broken marriage as well, and you see another thing you will see is struggle following the person, even when they relocate from one place to another, or they cut off toxic people out of their life, they still experience that problem. Once that happens, it means that it is a foundational problem, not just an ex, okay? Then sometimes these people may dream of being tied to family shrines, old homes, or ancestral figures. So your dreams or the person's dream can tell them a lot, okay, whether they are carrying foundational issues or not. What are the signs of exes? The signs of exes include sudden attack after conflicts. Okay, so X is always sudden. Something that was not happening before started happening suddenly. Okay, something bad. All right, feeling like you're being watched, like feeling targeted, and those problems lift up quickly when you cleanse or when you do a spiritual work concerning it, unlike foundational issue. Foundational issues need deeper work, okay? Deeper work. So, how do you address a foundational problem? You have to, for you to address a foundational problem, the first thing, in fact, before you even know that, okay, this is a foundational problem, you need to consult with a spiritualist that really have the sight, the knowledge, the wisdom to actually know if, and the gift to actually know if that is a foundational problem, what it is, how it started, okay, what is the, um, what can be done to lift that thing, that foundational issue. It really requires um, um, deep consultation, spiritual consultation. Okay, it's and somebody who is gifted in channeling messages. Okay, those are the people that really can know, or people who can hear the spirits talk. They're the people that can know if this is a foundational problem or not, where it originated from, okay, how it started, and what can be done to remove it. Okay, so you have to, after that, you have to identify the repeated pattern in the family, and then you now have to start, after you've checked what happened in the past, um, how you can actually remove it. Then you start trying to remove that foundational issue. And most times there's always libation, pouring of libation and offering and acknowledging the ancestors, okay, come into play. Okay, but when you do that, you have to reject their debts. Whatever debt they are carrying, you have to cancel it. Sometimes you may need to cancel the covenant that they made if it's cancelable, okay, but you really need to, with authority, remove that covenant and create your own covenant for yourself, basically. Okay, so like I said, you have to reestablish your own covenant, um, because your own covenant overrides whatever your ancestors have made. So you have to cancel that and reestablish yourself. That will help you to do away with those foundational issues. Okay. Um, so sometimes, sometimes, and I'm talking from experience, okay, an ex can be directed towards you through a foundational problem. That means somebody attacking you, sending you an ex can result from you having a particular foundational problem. So let me give you an example. Now there was this client that came to me. You know, the client just um, um, got into an accident, and one of the client's leg was broken. So the client went for treatment. So as he was actually receiving the treatment, a lot of people that knew him started having dreams about the person that sent him the evil eye, the person that sent him the X, right? So there was some noise going around. So this person like came to me to check, what's really going on, what is the because he believed that it was a spiritual manipulation and all that. So we have to check, what really caused the accident. So truthfully, it was somebody that projected the accident towards him, but that person didn't really project the accident on their own. So they were used. That person was used to project the accident to my client through one of the client's ancestors. Okay, so it was actually so the surface cause of that accident was somebody sending an X to the person, but the real cause was from one of his ancestors that hit him spiritually. Okay, that ancestors. So from the consultation, we found out that the ancestor actually, when he was alive, he worked so hard for recognition but never got that recognition. He never got the respect he deserved, and he was actually forgotten in the family. So that ancestral spirit became very restless, very angry, and it started disturbing people in the family. So the ancestor was requiring that someone or that my client recognized him with libation and food. It was not even, something much, okay? Because even when my client was being treated, each time the leg start healing, something will happen and the leg will go back to, you know, as if it will go back to the former state, as if it hasn't been treated before. So we found out that the ancestor was standing and making declaration that none of them will be grounded. Okay. And you know that when it comes to grounding, your leg plays a lot of role in grounding. In fact, your leg is your foundation. The leg in the human body is the foundation, okay? And your foundation is also associated with your root chakra. So there was a constant blocking of the root chakra and the leg by this ancestor, okay? Until libation was poured and offerings were given. So this is just a clear example of a foundational issue, okay? So it's not all problems that are excess. Even sometimes an X that is projected towards you may be from a foundational cause, okay? So this is what I have to say today. Comment down below if you know you have similar experiences or there is somebody experiencing this around you. And if you want a consultation on foundational issues, you can, reach out to me or book um, um, for a consultation. I'm going to put private bookings under this video, okay, in the description box. So, and I'm going to put ways to reach out to me, all right? in the description as well. So if you feel like you may have a foundational issue, you can reach out to me or book for channeling a heavy channeled message. Okay, so in the private reading, there is heavy channeled messages in there. You can book for that. You can reach out to me. If you reach out to me, I will still tell you to book for that as well. Okay. Um, if you're interested still in the moon ritual, please book your spots. The moon ritual is coming up in a few days on the 17th, on the 7th, guys, on the 7th. So reach out to me or book your spot because I'm going to put the link in the description box. Okay. So thank you so much for coming around. Thank you so much for listening to this lecture. Please like the video or the audio, like the audio, share this message to anyone you feel like will be interested. And if you've not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Like the video because it encourages me to create more. If there is a topic you want me to talk about, please comment it in the write it down in the comment. Okay, just write it down in the comment. I will look into it. All right, thank you so much guys for coming around, and I'll see you in my next one, guys. Bye.